All right, this is big time. No defensive gun use today. We got to cover two stories I was asked to cover. Uh, why nobody wants to send their kids to school with you. So those will be last. Let's get through the other ones first. Got a couple here. From Redux. 75-year-old trans identified male elected chair of Rhode Island Democratic Women's Caucus. That's right. Got a double whammy. A woman and a priest. Blasphemy. A 75-year-old trans identified male has won in an unopposed race for chair of the Rhode Island Democratic Women's Caucus. Donnie Anderson, formerly known as Donald, lives in Providence, Rhode Island. Serves as a minister at a church in neighboring state Massachusetts. Anderson began to identify as a woman in 2018 at the age of 69. Interesting. The deadline for the estimated 500 caucus members to vote in their 2023 elections was Friday, January 26, and the results were announced the next day. In a press release from the group penned by Anderson himself, the results were shared. The Rhode Island Democratic Women's Caucus has elected the Reverend Dr. Donnie Anderson as the new chair. Those elected to the positions of vice chair, secretary, treasurer, and executive committee were also named. Earlier this month, Anderson spoke in a Zoom meeting amongst members of the group and told them, "I don't want you to vote for me because I am transgender. Please don't do that. And I hope you won't vote against me because I am transgender either." Anderson also shared that he had already made arrangements to change some of his other commitments so he could serve as chair of the group. The Rhode Island Democratic Women's Caucus was established in November 2019 and is not officially affiliated with the state. The caucus allows anyone who identifies as a woman or something made up to join, contingent on using their pronouns, so addressing their delusion. The website directs men and those of other identities to join as associate members. According to their mission statement, they aim to impact government and political processes in order to ensure equality and power, influence, and economic status for those who identify as and with women. Anderson is the former executive minister of the Rhode Island State Council of Churches and is well known for his advocacy at the State House and his unsuccessful 2022 bid for state Senate. His gender transition made public news in 2018 after the then president of the state's Council of Churches published a statement supporting him. The 75-year-old father of 4 and grandfather of 7 is referred to as a woman by the Providence Journal, who has been also falling for the delusion pronouns for him throughout their coverage. They announced the prominent pastor's intention to complete his transition to becoming a woman in May of 2018 when he stated that he would be taking a 3-month sabbatical from his position of executive minister. In September of 2018, the Journal followed up on the report, writing that the Reverend Donnie Anderson completed his transition to a woman this summer. The follow-up after he completed his transition included that he recalled a fascination with his aunt's makeup and clothes as a young boy and revealed that he had been undergoing hormone replacement therapy since 2017 but had not undergone surgery. He also admitted that his wife was devastated when he came out to her. Well, yeah, because she thought she married a man. In one interview, his wife, Debbie Jamison, described it as salt in the wound when boxes of women's clothes flowed into the house just days after Anderson announced his transition to her. "I couldn't stop crying, Jamison says, recalling that she fled the house 2 days after Anderson came out. Jamison sought therapy following Anderson's transition, as did his 2 daughters. The couple had been married for 23 years. While Jamison initially resolved to try and keep the marriage together, Anderson's Facebook now states he is single. Despite his wife's negative reaction, Anderson recalled being content after announcing his transition and shared, "Every single time. Every single time." Anderson recalled being content after announcing his transition, and shared that a rabbi friend from Israel sent him a gift card to J. Jill, a popular woman's clothing store. After returning from sabbatical, where did he go to sabbatical? Don't tell me he went to Israel. He received another gift card for Nordstrom from a group of 5 Rhode Island rabbis. just a coincidence, right? So the rabbis didn't tell you to get your fucking shit together and maintain your marriage. They endorsed you chopping off your dick. No coincidence, right? Anderson also shared his story on his personal website, again including that his close friends and family were shocked at his announcement of being transgender. I don't understand why it was so important for you to value the rabbis over your own wife and daughters, you fucking cuck. He says after 6 long decades, he emerged out of hiding his transgender identity in what he calls his own exodus in reference to the stories from religious texts. You mean the Bible? You mean the Bible? He continues to address his family's devastation with, freedom is never cheap. There is always a price. The cost was not just mine, but the pain was felt by my beloved family. After acknowledging his family's difficulty, Anderson continued to express positive feelings towards his decision. I believe that I may be the most blessed person on the planet. It is a joy to share with gatherings that I am living life as the person I was always meant to be. In addition to his work in religious institutions and politics, Anderson provides guidance to college students. Oh, great. Awesome. Offering an inside track on the transgender experience, what it means to decide and act upon the fact of one's identity and to live it openly and proudly. Anderson also regularly participates in speaking engagements and offers himself as a public speaker on his website. His recent engagements include events at Brown University, MIT, Providence College, Sal Virginia University, and the University of Rhode Island. Since his transition, Anderson has become a vocal activist, sometimes turning up to protest those critical of delusion. Last September, the Cranston Public Library hosted a panel titled What Your Kids Learn About Gender in School, organized by the Independent Women's Network. The panel featured Billboard, Chris Elston, Candace Jackson, and Nicholas Solis. The three discussed gender ideology in schools, parental transparency, and protecting children from physical mutilation. Correct. Chopping off body parts because somebody thinks they're something, because their kindergarten teacher told them something, and making a profit off of it is mammon. Let's pause. Let's pause. Mammon. I don't know if I feel like getting this video today. Mammon. Wealth regarded as an evil influence or false object of worship and devotion. I'll play the clip this week, but when a doctor at a conference says we can make $100,000 from one phalloplasty, and if you don't know what the phalloplasty is, that's when they skin graft a young girl from their forearms and create a fake dick. When the doctor's convention doesn't talk about helping the patient, but they talk about the amount of money they can make from one phalloplasty, we call that mammon. When you talk about the wealth and not the patient, I see that as evil. Anderson spoke and at times yelled in front of the library in protest of the panel. He said, I believe with all my heart in free speech, but I believe in the marketplace of ideas. I believe that we should be confronted and talk with people who see the, but my friends, there is a limit. See? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. So in 4 sentences, you contradict yourself. I believe with all my heart in free speech, but there is a limit to free speech. No, bitch. No, bitch. You're 70 years old. Your family left you. That's not my fault. Okay? You got to work that out with your family. I don't know what to tell you. You hid something from them for your daughters are 23 years old. You hid that from them for years. Okay? Now, other people are going to say things, and other people are going to say, we don't want what happened to your family to happen to our family. You know, if that offends you, hey, that's too fucking bad. You're a pastor, for God's sake. It wasn't Adam and Evan, was it? But was Eve just transitioning? Did God, on the eighth day, did God do a phalloplasty? He railed against the speakers involved in the panel, claiming they were recruiting people to be part of legislative efforts that will make it more difficult for our children to realize who they are and be who they are. And the result of that is going to be that children are going to die. Oh, there we go. So if we don't let you make the children sterile, they're going to kill themselves. Anderson also called the administration of the library cowards and proclaimed they allowed hate. There's no such thing. No such thing as hate speech. Photos posted by Anderson on social media show that several of the attendees at the protest were young children. In response, the Independent Women's Network published a statement reiterating that they respect peaceful protesters, but believe in the value and importance of open discussions on one of the biggest issues facing America's children. Earlier this year, Anderson was similarly present at a demonstration outside of a Drag Queen Story Hour event held at a local library in support of the event. Anderson now serves as the minister of Pilgrim United Church of Christ in New Bedford, Massachusetts. On the church's site, Anderson boasts, "For years, my fantasy was to preach openly in a pink clergy shirt, fully expressing the fact that I am a woman. That fantasy is now my reality." It's not our reality. Prior to his current position, Anderson served as a pastor at the Provincetown United Methodist Church in Provincetown, Massachusetts, a known hub for over-the-top Rainbow Coalition events. Anderson is also active as a board member for the Association in Welcoming and Affirming Baptists and Sage RI, a services and advocacy group for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender seniors. Yeah, it's another thing they don't talk about. If we were more opening and welcoming, there would be more seniors coming out this way, right? But funny enough, it's only kids. I wonder why that is. I guess there's not as much brainwashing happening at retirement homes, right? Anderson is the second openly transgender male in New England to be elected to a Democratic position. The other, Stacey Lawton, resigned from his post in December after being charged with stalking a woman who had a protective order against him. Oh, of course. Wow, another psychopathic pedophile? Wow, another rapist? Oh, no way. I'm shocked. All right. Next story. Study: to get hired at UT Austin, faculty must prove allegiance to racism. After years of left-wing activists pushing racially diverse philosophies under the guise of diversity, equity, inclusion, or as how it used to be, diversity, inclusion, and equity, so DEI, in higher education, a recent case study of the University of Texas at Austin exposes DEI initiatives' toxicity. In a report last week, aptly titled Comprehensive Restructuring, like gender affirming care, right? Child mutilation is now called gender affirming care. The National Association of Scholars revealed that the push for so-called DEI at UT Austin has fundamentally restructured the school. With a clear ideological agenda, DEI initiatives call for a vast overhaul of curriculum and instruction that includes growing the bureaucratic behemoth and making Marxist groupthink a faculty job requirement. To many, the term diversity, equity, and inclusion might sound like a benign commitment to fairness, wrote John Saylor, the author of the report. The DEI initiatives at UT Austin, however, frequently espouse controversial political and social views, whether through mandatory training sessions, these are called struggle sessions, book groups, and administrator-endorsed reading lists or curriculum guidelines. Saylor observed how bureaucratic language distracts observers from the reality of UT's Austin DEI rot, which is ironically anything but diverse, equitable, or inclusive. The report found that when you strip away the fancy buzzwords, academia's obsession with skin color, sex, sexual attraction, and commitment to the left-wing hive mind have affected all areas of campus life and fields of study, summed up by curricula and faculty. Oh, here we go. Curricula. Consider the curriculum at the Dell Medical School. In the summer of 2021, UT Austin added health equity to the list of core competencies at its med school. More specifically, according to UT Austin, medical students must demonstrate an understanding of the root causes of health inequities, including how the socialization of dominant cultural norms, beliefs, and values and application of public policy create these health inequities among defined populations. Morbidly obese people who never work out and never change their diet are going to die sooner. Does that offend you? Atherosclerosis, plaque in your arteries, is not because of white supremacy. A myocardial infarction, your heart tissue dying because you have a blockage. Being unable, if you fall down and you can't stand back up because you're too fat, that is not white supremacy's fault. Okay? Planet Fitness costs $10 a month. The effects of DEI in medical school are already being felt in real-world hospitals. For instance, so-called health equity, which is rooted in critical race theory, means implementing intentional racial discrimination in healthcare. Under Oregon's Medicaid, for example, which invokes the same ideas of disrupting as UT's Austin Med School, your medical care can be affected by the color of your skin. Marxist ideas not rooted in science have also corrupted prestigious medical journals. And that's just the medical school. Yeah, like, I don't understand. Like, I'll have to pull up this study where, I don't remember, what was it, Lovalox? It was some kind of like it was there's a drug that they give people for blood clots. And it turns out that if you give Asian men the same amount as European men, it actually does the reverse. So race is real, bro. I don't know what to tell you. And that's just the medical school. Many of UT Austin's 13 schools have overhauled their curricula to fit the anti-science and race-obsessed dictates of DEI. Faculty. More of UT Austin's left-wing lurch has been accomplished by pressuring faculty to accommodate a pattern and has repeated itself across universities nationwide. The DEI initiatives also call for various required training sessions, Saylor writes, some for students and even more for faculty. For instance, first-year interest groups, which help students acclimate to life on campus, must spend a certain portion of their meetings discussing DEI content. The systemic left-wing groupthink is now a guiding principle throughout the hiring process, writes Saylor, one which is now valued on par with teaching and research, and existing faculty members who disagree face insurmountable opposition to their career advancement. Increasingly, faculty at UT Austin must demonstrate an enthusiastic and sustained commitment to DEI in order to maintain good standing. Many job applicants at UT Austin must now expand upon their past and planned contributions to DEI through a diversity statement. In practice, this requirement inevitably functions as a test of political or ideological allegiance. Worse, reviewers for the promotion or tenure of existing faculty must explicitly consider efforts related to the promotion of DEI, ensuring that the skeptical professors remain silent or pay the cost. DEI initiatives that saturate education purport to reduce alleged racism. Yet, as the Heritage Foundation's Jonathan Butcher wrote last month, nationwide, school officials reported a record number of discrimination complaints last year. How can this be? In truth, studies show that DEI offices accomplish little more than producing a lot of bureaucratic sound and fury on the taxpayer's dime. The refrain of the National Association of Scholars Study is, "Don't be fooled by the rhetoric. DEI is poison and it requires immediate action." For those concerned about the future of higher education, Saylor concludes, the rolling revolution at UT Austin cannot be ignored. All right. And then we have one more, and then we'll get into why no one wants to go to school with your kids. Your kids. DeSantis survey of state-run colleges reveals millions of dollars spend millions of dollars spend on DEI, critical race theory. Come on, post-millennial. Okay. One second.
Mire que está solo $25 por línea.
$25 por Verizon.
Garantizado por 3 años.
¿Por 3 años?
No puede ser.
$25 por línea.
Sorry about that. A preliminary release of results from Florida's survey of critical race theory and diversity, equity, inclusion, CRT programs in state-run colleges and universities has revealed millions of dollars of taxpayer funds being funneled to these programs. The preliminary results come in response to a letter sent by Governor Ron DeSantis' office to Florida Department of Education Commissioner Manny Diaz and State University System of Florida Chancellor Ray Rodriguez requesting that each Florida college system and state university institution unveil staff programs and campus activities related to DEI and CRT. Well, it just sounds like an audit. It sounds like they want to say, hey, where's all this money going? Let's see. All state university and college systems in Florida have been required to report expenditures and resources utilized for campus activities related to diversity, equity, inclusion, and critical race theory. Oh, here's the letter. The amount that is state funded. Oh, look at that. Each Florida state college system and state university. I like that they actually post a letter. I like that. Each Florida college system and state university system, I'm not going to read just this one paragraph in the bullet points, must complete the attached document to provide a comprehensive list of all staff, programs, and campus activities related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and critical race theory. As part of this request, each institution must detail the below costs associated with the administration of each program or activity. Brief description of the program or activity, positions, including full and partial FTE, I guess that's full-time employees, I'm not sure. Total funding spent to support the initiative, and of the total spent to support the initiative, the amount that is state funded. The survey of programs has revealed that those in high-ranking DEI positions are paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxpayer funds annually. The chief diversity officer and related support staff at the University of Florida are paid over $750,000 per year. To do what? To teach kids about cultural appropriation? Black people in America speak English and wear suits, but I don't. Every black person in the NFL plays football. Wasn't football created in Britain or London? The chief diversity officer, $750,000 per year. $750,000 to do what? To bitch? You bitch to college students and you get paid that much money? The University of Central Florida vice president for DEI and their assistant are paid a combined $445,000 per year. Additionally, the survey revealed numerous centers and offices in Florida's institutions of higher education costing millions of dollars in taxpayer funds. This includes the Center for Environment, Equity, and Justice at Florida A&M University, which costs $1.8 million per year. The Diversity and Inclusion Office at the University of South Florida, which costs over $1.1 million per year, and the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at Florida International University, which costs over $1 million per year. The school apparently underreported programs on their campuses, with the University of Florida omitting their youth gender program for their survey response. According to the University of Florida's Division of Endocrinology, UF Health's youth gender program is for transgender and gender nonconforming, or TGNC youth and their families. Oh, they hit it, huh? Underreported? We educate our patients and their families about gender identity development and gender nonconformity and other services for social and medical transitioning. Excuse me. The program states, adding that they abide by World Professional Association for Transgender Healthcare standard. That organization, WPATH, also advocates for ENOC as a gender identity and has stated that there should be no age limits on medical sex changes. Yeah, I don't know if it's just evil or I don't know if it's mammon. Other taxpayer-funded programs produced by state-run schools include Florida State University's Social Justice Ally Workbook, as well as the University of South Florida's Anti-Racist Resources List. Oh, let me guess. I can take a guess at the two books on that list. White Fragility by the Jewish woman and Anti-Racism by Ibram X. Kendi. I mean, that's not even his real name, but Social Justice Ally is a workbook for the Center of Leadership and Social Change and teaches about topics that include LGBT, I don't care, adultism, sizeism, Christian hegemony, as well as so bullshit, all stupid shit. Who cares? Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? If I'm going to school for HVAC, I don't care. I don't fucking care. Anti-racist resources give numerous books, articles, podcasts, and people to read and listen to on the topic of racism and the Black experience, including the book How did I know? 75 Things White People Can Do for Racial Justice. Go fuck yourself. The resource list also gives a number of organizations that white people should donate. Oh, so now you're telling me where to spend my money, huh? Breonna Taylor. Well, Breonna Taylor was a trap queen, and George Floyd was a home invader and a junkie. Don't care. Speaking earlier this week, DeSantis blasted the dominant view of the purpose of higher education, saying higher education under this view is to impose ideological conformity to try to provoke political activism. Correct. And I have a question about Floyd. Okay, here's something people don't know about Floyd. Do you know the name of the family of the woman whose home he broke into? I do. Her name is Araceli Enriquez, okay? She had a 1-year-old kid that witnessed. So a 1-year-old kid. Now, I know there's no way this kid is going to have memories. But then again, I don't know, maybe. This 1-year-old kid saw black people pistol whip his mom, and then he saw George Floyd stick a gun in her abdomen. Is Araceli Enriquez's kid allowed to hate George Floyd? Answer in the comments below. Now, if you see the former approach as dominant throughout the country, particularly with respect to academia, you see it manifested in a lot of different ways, but more recently, you see it manifested in things like DEI bureaucracies, said DeSantis. And this is basically a component of the administration with universities that are imposing a political agenda, sometimes things like critical race theory. These bureaucracies are hostile to academic freedom, and really they constitute a drain on resources and end up contributing, certainly around the country, to higher costs as these bureaucracies metastasize. Speaking on the survey, which was undertaken just after his inauguration, DeSantis said it's a lot of money and it's not the best use of your money. Well, that's a very milquetoast answer. At least he's doing, for a Republican to actually do something, I'm impressed. Doesn't take much for Republicans, though. All right. Why don't they want to go to school with kids? Why no one wants to go to school with your kids, with your kids? All right. The Shade Room. Got 2 videos here. I'm going to see if I can play the video. I'm not sure if I can. We'll see. This is YouTube. Georgia high school student faces criminal charges in attack that left teacher with a broken leg. A Georgia student is facing criminal charges after a dispute that left a teacher with a broken leg. Heritage High School in Rockdale County suspended the 9th grader following the violent altercation captured on video. Over the weekend, suspended. She should be arrested. We'll get to the video. Over the weekend, the clip received viral attention across social media platforms. So, let's just play the video. I'm going to shut up. Show, don't tell. Knock the cell phone out of her hand. Now, notice how all the other your kids, 1 cell phone, 2 cell phone, 3 cell phones. Like it's a joke. Knock the cell phone. That's assault right there.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Put your hands on me. Yeah, I swear to God, if you don't
Boom, right there.
Oh, God damn!
That's right. Let's go back to that face. That's right. So in case anyone missed it, we'll play it one more time.
You're not gonna talk to me like that, you dumbass bitch. You're not gonna talk to me like that. Bitch, you're not gonna talk to me like that. You're not gonna talk to me like that, you dumbass bitch.
Bitch, you're not gonna talk to me like that. 15. This is a girl.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Put your hands on me. Yeah, I swear to God, if you don't get your hands on me, I'm just gonna swing you back.
I mean, the teacher right now, she's trying to control her. Okay. I mean, I feel bad for this teacher. I'm going to victim blame for a second. You're too fat to do this job. Okay. You can't physically handle these kids. These kids, you know, and you broke your leg by falling down. You fell down, which is, you know, what happens to overweight people a lot. They fall down and they're like a turtle on the back of their shell. They can't get up again. They need 6 other people to herniate their discs to try to lift them up. Like, what is your fucking problem, bitch? What is your problem? Like, this woman should have just clocked her. I would, but this woman will be blamed. The school will blame this woman. That's how it works in these schools now. This woman will be blamed for not controlling this girl. And all the students, oh, it's so, look how funny it is. Yo, it's so, yo, there's a fight. Yo, it's so funny. Ha 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 ha. One, like I said, everybody filming it. Like I said, it's a big joke, right? It's a big joke. That's why no one wants to go to school with you. No one wants to be around you. You can't figure it out. You still can't figure it out. Let's see if the girl got punished. According to WSB TV Channel 2's interview with Rockdale County School District officials, the unidentified student is likely facing criminal charges. The Rockdale County Sheriff's Office released a statement saying they're actively investigating this incident. Following the altercation, she attacked the teacher. Get it? She assaulted the teacher. She knocked her property out of her hand, damaged her property, and then she struck her in the head multiple times. The student was taken to a juvenile detention center. Meanwhile, the unnamed teacher is reportedly recovering from a broken leg. The school district released a statement about the incident, denouncing violence against teachers. Yeah, sure. Rockdale County Public School is investigating an incident where a student allegedly, bro, it's on video. How many cell phones in this class? Allegedly. You did it. You're caught. And all these fucking stupid people, oh, if we buy more cameras and lights, no one will break in my home. You're fucking stupid. You need a gun. This teacher should be allowed to have a taser or mace. She should have been allowed to mace this girl in the face with bear mace. Fuck this girl. Fuck this bitch. Not the teacher, the bitch who attacked her. RCPS does not tolerate student violence toward any staff members. Students who harm other students or staff will be disciplined according to our student discipline code of conduct and will be appropriately charged by law. I don't believe you. What that means is she's going to have to go to another part of the school for a day, like an in-school suspension. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. It's still unclear what provoked an argument between the student and the teacher. However, in 2 videos, the student seemingly suggests the teacher was talking about their mom. Oh, well, clearly that gives you the right to stand up and attack her. Channel 2 spoke with a student who witnessed the fight who says it was more shocking than scary. She's a pretty good teacher, but how she talks with aggression. How she talks to kids is not a proper way to talk. Oh, so the girl here is the victim. Oh, that's right. That's right. The black kid, the kid's the victim. Oh, the poor kids. The witness student's parent threw some blame at the teacher as well, saying, teachers are not taking a class on how to deal with children. That's right. All the mammies. Local outlet, the Rockdale Newton Citizen, reports the educator has been teaching for 27 years and currently teaches language arts at Heritage High. Well, I know that one black girl said bitch a lot. That's her language. Additionally, the outlet claims the teacher was covering the class for another teacher, so she was a sub. The less than a minute viral clip begins with a female student and teacher standing face to face, with the student yelling profanities while the teacher attempts to make a phone call. I don't give an F if you're an adult or not. You're not finna talk to me like that. You a dumbass bitch, the teen told the teacher. From there, the interaction escalates as the teacher asks the teen to get out of her face, and the teen responds by knocking the teacher's phone to the ground. The teen pushes against the teacher's hands while she lifts them to create distance between them. At this point, the teacher walks towards the classroom door, seeking help from another teacher. That was your problem. You turned your back on this girl. That was your first. You can't turn your back on these kids. That's a sign of weakness. You can't turn the other cheek. You have to win. Because now all the other kids know that they can push you around. They know it. This leads the teen to shove the teacher to the floor, and the teacher reacts by holding the teen away from her body. The teen then starts swinging at the teacher's head and face, and eventually they both end up on the hallway floor until other teachers separate them. Another angle of the video shows the moment the teacher and student fell to the ground, presumably when the teacher broke her leg. What's this?
My fucking God. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Don't you look? And look, see? Is this kid oppressed? This kid walking around, he got a cell phone. Is he oppressed? He sees a fight. He doesn't pull the girl off the teacher. None of these students give a fuck about the teachers, and the teachers are black. There's no community. There's no community. They don't want to study. They're not in school to learn. It's a fucking daycare. You're on your own around these kids. Look.
Fucking God. Oh my fucking.
Right there. Right here. How many people are here? 10? 12? They can easily come in and separate these two, but no one's going to do it. They'd rather watch it and film it and talk about it. That's going to be the talk for the rest of the day until the next fight tomorrow.
Oh my fucking God. Oh my 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 fucking God.
Yo, look at her leg. See her leg.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah. So it looks like it hyperextended.
God.
And look, she's trying to attack her again, and they're not doing anything. I see a bunch of fat black women who can't do anything and won't do anything because the kids. That's right. Nobody puts their hands on her. Nobody holds her down. Nobody stops her. They let her go. Like, you need men. You need men in these classrooms. I saw 4 mammies. And that girl's not going to be punished. I'll follow up on that story. She's not going to be punished. And don't worry, that's not the only one that happened. We got another one too. 9-year-old Florida girl savagely beaten by 2 boys in school bus attack. Now, here's the thing. We'll play the video. Not right. So what you have is a 9-year-old girl, and she's Latina, I believe. She's Latina, and her brother are being beat up. And this kid is 14, 15, right? Are any of the other kids doing anything, or are they cheering? I don't know what it's going to take. Look, see? Learn behavior. So when the older kid is done, now the little kid starts to do it. Yeah, that's right. Your kids are not safe. Now, I got to say something really terrible here. I'm going to extend an olive branch first. As someone who's trying to be a better Christian, I don't want any kids to get hurt, regardless of their color, okay? I don't. I don't want to see kids get hurt. I don't want to see it. I don't want this Latina kid to get hurt. What this kid did to her was terrible, right? But let me bring up something. But let's step back for a second. Let's step back for a second. Does anybody, now it's not to say that, that's not to say that I don't believe in defending yourself against a bunch of young kids, right? Now, if anybody remembers this, these two black girls carjacked Muhammad Anwar, 60s. They had a taser, stun gun. He was thrown from the car. 13 and 15-year-old black girls were carjacking him. Now, I'm just going to say that had he shot them in self-defense, yeah, here he is. So he's dead. So that guy's dead. That guy was supporting his family, and a 13 and 15-year-old black girl carjacked him. Now, had he shot them, I wouldn't shed a fucking tear, okay? Once you start carjacking people, once you start home invasions, once you start committing adult crimes, when adults kill kids because the kids are committing adult crimes, I don't feel sorry for you. I got nothing to say. Being a 13 to 15-year-old black girl doesn't mean you get the right to carjack people. And had that guy defended himself, I wouldn't give a fuck. But normal kids who don't do anything, just trying to go to school, they don't deserve this. And again, the family was Latina. And it's like, but on the other hand, I got to say, you know, I've talked to other people. I've talked to other non-white people about what's happening to Europe. And the only thing I've been told is Europe deserves that. Europe has to learn to share, right? Well, guess what, Latina family? Now you know what it's like for white families. Now you know what it's like. And wait till you hear how they punish this kid. So I'm going to stop it right there. I don't want to play too much. But basically, a 9-year-old kid was getting the shit beat out of her. I don't know for what reason. And on Twitter, if you go on Twitter, they say, well, he probably called him the N-word. So, of course, that means you deserve to just, go nuts and just almost murder. This is attempted murder. I think this is attempted murder. Okay? 9-year-old kid, and then you beat up his brother too. The parents of a 9-year-old Florida girl who was videoed being mercilessly beaten by two blacks aboard a school bus plan to pursue criminal charges against her attackers, according to reports. Footage of the stomach-churning assault shows two boys ferociously and repeatedly pummeling the third grader at Coconut Palm K-8 Academy in Homestead as she desperately tries to fend them off. No adults intervened during the almost 30 seconds of the attack that was recorded by a classmate. Again, another situation where nobody's going to step in. And this is a Latina family. Welcome to America. And guess what? They're not going to punish these kids. No adults intervene. Adults aren't allowed to intervene. Black Lives Matter steps. They can't punish you. You can't punish criminals. You say police and schools are racist. You call it the school to prison pipeline. I just showed you a video where nobody held back that 15-year-old girl. They saw her as the victim. People were going to see this black monster as the victim because that's what you are. You're beating up a 9-year-old girl. I hope you get Ma'Khia Bryant. That's what I hope you get. She told the outlet that school administrators are overwhelmed by spiraling violence inside and around the school, and their response was to advise her to enroll her 3 children elsewhere. That's right. We can't punish blacks. We can't suspend them. We have to suspend them on the level of their student population. What does that mean? That means if 20% of the kids that go to the school are black, the suspensions for black kids can't go above 20%. They can't expel the kid because then the school will lose federal funding. So your kids aren't safe. The school literally told them to take their kids out of the school because they can't protect them. Do you fucking get it yet? Do you fucking get it yet? This kid beats her. The other kids don't do anything. Then this kid beats her. Like, what is the mentally, what is going through this kid's head? Mentally. From the gratification deferment to the low impulse control, what does it take for a 15-year-old kid to just attempted murder a 9-year-old girl? What does it take? What does it take? Is this Latino family allowed to hate this kid? Does that make them racist? You almost murdered their daughter. Do they got to go on CNN and say they forgive him? I'm gonna puke. The heartbroken mom noted her 2 older kids have also been bullied during their brief time at the school, and counselors and administrators have done nothing to address her complaints. The girl's father took to social media to express his rage and vowed to launch protests in front of the school. That's not going to do anything, bro. That's not going to do a fucking thing. Sorry to tell you that. I want to set up a rally and confront the school head on. The lack of security is unreal, and the lack of security on the bus is ridiculous. The bullying must stop. What you mean is you want the black kids to leave your kids alone. Just say what it is. Just say what it is. I want my kids away from other black kids, or I need armed security on the bus. In a statement, the Miami-Dade school police said the offenders have been arrested. The safety and well-being of our students are of the utmost importance, it read. The school district goes to great lengths to promote the values of restraint and respect, as well as using social media responsibly. We ask that parents reinforce these principles at home. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm sure this 15-year-old kid's really going to get in trouble by his fucking parent. His parent. Meanwhile, 3 female Florida high school students, 2 17-year-olds and a 15-year-old, were arrested this week for their role in yet another violent campus melee caught on tape. The footage shows 5 girls relentlessly punching a student at West Brownwood High School in Pembroke Pines on January 24th. The victim in the case suffered a concussion, Local 10 reported. After the video circulated, Principal Brad Fat Out, your last name is Fat Out, warned that students who film fights will be disciplined in the future, arguing that the footage incites violence. Interesting. Let's go to that. Oh, we get another one for free. 3rd girl arrested for Brownwood High brawl as principal threatens discipline to students who film. Oh, look, it's more of your kids. Let's see if we can get it to play. A 3rd teenager has been arrested for her role in a brutal fight between students at Westward Brownwood High School. The beating was caught on camera. School's principal sent a letter to parent. Oh, wow, you sent a letter. You're useless too. Sorry. I hate the internet sometimes, man. Try to get it to play. Doesn't load very well. I got a 3rd story.
Girls were told from police were involved in this beatdown. And as you both mentioned, 3 have been arrested. The youngest one only 15 years old. And police tell me that charges may be pending for the other 2 that were involved. It was a vicious beatdown caught on camera at West Broward High School in Pembroke Pines. A group of 5 girls jump another, gang up on her, and just deliver punch after punch. The girl getting pummeled is covering her head, defenseless on the ground, all while a crowd of students watch on, and some even recorded on their phones. 2 teenage girls were initially arrested, and now a 3rd arrest. 17-year-olds Jada Pascal and Kiara Brown. The youngest suspect is only 15 years old, all facing aggravated battery charges. According to an arrest form, the 15-year-old battered an employee. The victim did go to the hospital and suffered a mild concussion as a result of the fight. Parents were left stunned and shocked after seeing the video.
Terrible. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And I've had thoughts about pulling him out of the school.
Why haven't you already, you stupid fuck? Why do you send your kid to the fucking zoo, bro? Damn. Your kids aren't safe. You got fat women who can't do anything except fall down and break their legs. And then you got other teachers who are told if they do anything physical, they're going to be fired. Fascinating. Your kids are not safe at these fucking public schools, man. You got to get them out. Homeschool, private school. And you got to make sure the private school doesn't have HIV. You know? It's just not the same, man.
And the victim has told police that she still suffers from painful headaches following this attack. Again, she sustained a concussion in it. And since the school year started, Pembroke Pines police tell me that they have been called here at least 6 times for physical fights on campus.
Yeah, but have any of the kids who have been in the fights been arrested? Have any of them been expelled? Have any of the parents been charged with, just being a fuck up? Sucking up taxpayer dollars? It doesn't mean anything to call the police. You need, why do you keep letting these kids be in the school? Because the school would shut down. The school's just a daycare. The school's not going to punish them. And after the Tyree Nichols thing, they're trying to make police not punish them either. All the while, they're coming for guns too. You're going to defend yourself against the poor little puppies? Oh, jail. Let me see if there was anything more on the New York Times article. Pardon me, the New York Post. Oh no, that was it. Yeah, so, why doesn't anyone want to go to school with you? This is why. Self-control, bro. Self-control. I don't know what else to say. And I want to, what I'm going to say is I'm going to be coming out with a special interview. I actually got someone who's going to talk. We're going to talk about what they're learning at school. And we're going to talk about a comparison of how they're trying to actually teach whites to not fight back and to feel guilt. They're deliberately trying to teach you that. We're going to have a big whole interview on that. It's going to be about that and then Temple University. Look forward for that in the future, near future. Anyway, I'm big time. That's news to me.